Anyway, we're back. Hopefully this time Lewis isn't going to talk about the lottery. And we've lost some fights. One fight. We've won some fights. You're in pretty good shape right now, actually, Lewis. You're ready for your next fight, which is in 2 days' time. So we can do some training in between.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Fantastic.
Feeling good?
Yep.
Feeling spunky?
Yep.
Feeling tough?
Yep.
Been working out?
No.
You want to help this guy? Looks Italian. He needs help with the dumbbells. He needs a spotter. What do you think?
Good.
All right, in you go. Oh, shit. He is really, really muscular, just like you like them. It looks like somebody has put baby oil all over his pecs and stuff, just like you like it. And he's just finished his... Thank you. I saw you training. It seems that you're good at fighting. Oh. Well, you know, I'm kicking ass here and there. That's your response. Then this should be interesting for you. There's a place across the river in a warehouse. Oh, this is cool. Do you know anything about Underground Ultimate Fights, Lewis?
No, tell me more.
Not much. If you'd like to earn more money, you should visit this place. That's all the info he's got for you. It's a warehouse across the river where you can fight people outside of a ring in like a factory setting. Do you want to do that?
What?
It looks like an old airplane hangar, and you can fight people and potentially kill them as well because there's no rules. Does that appeal to you at all?
Sure, let's go for it. Just go crazy.
Right.
Wait, well, look, I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read about the football pools after the last time. And I'll be with you as soon as I figure out what it is.
Oh, God, yeah. If you didn't catch the last episode, you really missed out. What did we talk about last time? So, hang on. What did you talk about last time we recorded? It was,
okay.
The lottery,
right.
Gambling, and the football pools.
So
and now
basically, okay, here we
get
go.
the feeling
Right.
we're going to talk about again.
I've got an explanation for it. Do you want to hear it? Okay, so
sure.
Basically, what you did was you got like a lottery ticket, okay?
Yeah.
But what you did was you had to make a bet, okay? You had to pick about 10 or 11 or 12 matches, okay, on your coupon, on your like piece of paper, okay?
Yeah.
On football games that were happening this weekend that you thought were gonna finish as either a 2-2 draw or greater, okay?
Oh, okay.
So there had to be a certain amount of goals scored in those games, okay?
Right.
And then if you were successful, then you can win a share of the big prize pool, okay? So you had to pick between the first 50 matches in the 4 English leagues, right? And these apparently have been in operation for 90 years. So basically you get this like stat sheet, you check all these things on it. It's like proper old school betting, you know. But everyone did it, okay? It was this very British thing, right? So my grandma, you know, she comes around and says, oh, you know, have you won the pools? It was kind of one of these things that people used to say to people, right? You know, along the lines of the same things that I mentioned, like premium bonds and stuff. I found an article about it.
Right.
And basically, 10 million people used to play this every week. Okay, in
10
England.
million?
10 million
What the hell?
in Britain. That's like, you know, a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. I'm surprised.
Even now, 350,000 people play it today, even now, with the internet and everything.
Jeez.
And you can win a lot of money. You know, it was the classic.
Yeah.
It was the original thing before the National Lottery. It was.
Fuck.
It was the original National Lottery. So it was like, you know, blonde women, you know, in 80s clothes, like holding up a giant check, buying a you know, a caravan and a speedboat and an extension, you know, and you know, maybe a cruise and you know, all that stuff, right? And so. Yeah, it was this thing. It was a little bit like one of these British traditions. Like, did you ever play Spot the Ball?
Spot the ball? No, I don't know what that is.
There was this, basically you get a card, okay? And it would have like a guy kicking a football in it. Okay, so there would be like for example, there'd be like a field of football players. It would be like a postcard size thing, okay, with a field of football players. And one of them would have just kicked a ball. You could tell, right? And what you had, but the ball had been photoshopped out, okay, very carefully. And so what you had to do is you had to put a dot on that card where you thought the ball was, and then send that in to a company. And if you're...
Man, that sounds fucking garbage.
If your spot...
That sounds stupid.
This was huge.
What? That sounds
if
so
your spot
dumb.
was the closest
I'm glad I didn't grow up
where
in Britain.
the ball
that sounds
was,
really dumb.
then you won.
I feel annoyed now. That's really dumb.
But that was such a huge thing. That was such a huge thing. It was like collecting stamps. Do you remember like collecting like Green Shield stamps or something like that? Man, I must admit, I was young when this stuff was old, right?
Yeah.
But there used to be this obsession with collecting things like stamps, and then you'd use it to pay for stuff at like the petrol station or whatever. You know.
Oh, we still have that. Like, well, we did. We had a place over here that did that, it was funnily enough, it was called Stampers. It's like the whole thing behind it was that, you know, you got these stamps every time you bought stuff, and you'd like fill up a card, and you'd get like £1 off your next purchase or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Stamps are all well and good, but these were actual like postage stamps, and you get sheets and sheets of the fuckers, and you would have like a whole wad of like sheets. You know, when you buy like you go into a I don't think you've even done this ever. I don't think people do this, but if you ever bought like 100 stamps from somewhere, they just give you like a sheet of them.
Yeah.
It would be like that. You know, it would be like going into an arcade and winning like one of the games or whatever, and getting like paid in like 500 stamps. You know, and then you'd have to put them in like a giant bag, and they'd weigh the bag to see how many stamps were in there, because you used to have so many fucking stamps. Do you know what I mean?
I'd be up for that, actually. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, listen, quickly. Do we want to fight a guy in a convenience store that's holding up the convenience store where you buy your slabs of meat to eat for your training?
Yeah, I need to eat some fucking slabs of meat. I haven't got time to like have my convenience store. I've got anything in the cupboards.
It's time to kick some ass. We're going to kick this guy's ass. That's what we're going to do. He's weak. Look, we're going to punch him. You just did a combo for 15 damage. Like, he's dead pretty much. Man, so sorry. I think he's concussed.
I just had this kind of momentary kind of breakdown in terms of like...
I feel like I'm having a breakdown right now, too.
I think that in the modern world, okay, there's it's much easier to spend your money, okay, than it used to be. For example, before, in the days before the internet, sure, you could go into a betting shop and buy stuff, but betting shops are like dingy. There's like loads of people in there smoking.
Well, they always have those like chain curtain things on the door too. What's up with that?
I don't like the idea of going into a bet. I feel like going into a betting shop.
I don't like chain curtains.
It's a little bit
why
like
I don't go in them.
Taking heroin in a dark alleyway, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into a betting shop any more than I want to inject myself with a dirty needle. Not that betting shops are horrible places or anything like that. You know, I had a friend who worked in one. It was fine. You know, etc. But I think that back in the day, before the internet, before the days of free-to-play games where you could just like at a click of a button like have access to your credit card and spend hundreds of pounds on Candy Crush or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you were playing the pools or whatever, it was fairly, or the lottery, it was fairly kind of innocent. You know, you couldn't buy your lottery tickets online or anything like that. So you'd have to go to the shop. You know, you'd be in a shop that, you know, if you were buying more than like 5 lottery tickets, the clerk behind the counter would be like, "What are you doing?"
Whoa, nowadays, big spender!
Exactly.
But like the internet never tells you that.
You could just buy like 50 quid's worth of lottery tickets online, and no one would bat an eyelid. There's no kind of like limit there, I think, in a way.
No.
And so
that's the thing. Like when you used to go to buy condoms from like the, you know, pharmacy or whatever.
Yeah.
You just buy like a pack of 3 or whatever because it was easier and cheaper, and you know, you didn't want to be the guy who went in there and bought like an ultra pack of like 150 condoms, because that would just look kind of weird because you actually had to deal with someone. But now that you can order them online and nobody ever sort of, you know, gets in your face or asks you any questions or gives you any sort of knowing looks, yeah, I mean, I buy like thousands at a time.
I feel like the only person who would go into a fucking pharmacy and literally take all the condoms off the shelf, put them in a basket, go up to the counter and like just stare the cashier in the eye would be some psychotic McLovin style teenager. Okay, that's the only fucking person who would do that, right?
Yeah.
But now that same person just buys them online. Do you think that has resulted in more free loving and more sex and more casual sex in our society.
Well,
right?
it can't be a bad thing, right?
not.
The thing is, now, people should use condoms when they're having sex, right? Especially people you don't know or that you've only just met or whatever. And
wise words, Sips.
The fact that, there's more. The fact that you can buy this protection online without any embarrassment is only a good thing, right? It means that people are more likely to have fallout shelter quantities of condoms on hand now, because you can buy them in bulk on the internet, and you won't get that awkward look from the person behind the cash, especially when you're buying the outlandish ones with the studs and the ribs and banana flavored and stuff like that.
Oh shit, yeah.
Man, how many times have you gone to buy those bad boys and you just get that look and you're just like, oh damn, now
it's for her pleasure I'm doing this. It's not for my own pleasure. I don't get nothing out of those knobbly bits, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. There's a lot of... I think the internet, coming back to it, I think, there's a lot of forces aligned against us that want our money at all times. And I think the internet has made it much easier for them to do that because they prey on the convenience factor too, right? You're on your iPad, you're thinking about banana flavored condoms, you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna order 200 of these, sort of thing.
Well,
and you can do that with a swipe and a touch of your iPad while you're sitting there in your mom's underpants or whatever.
It's true. I mean, I like that about the internet. Okay, I like that. For example, I like being able to. I think I haven't done it in this flat because I've got limited room and also it's impossible to get stuff delivered. But if I had a house and I lived in a house, I would just order shit off Amazon that I needed. I would order 10 bottles of lube. Of anything that I needed. And so I would never run out.
And more importantly,
I would be having sex with a young girl off Tinder, right? Not that young.
God. Okay. Yeah.
She's on Tinder, so she's
on Tinder.
I got her to show her her driving license, so I checked. Yeah. She was 21.
You sent her the invoice from Amazon of all the banana flavored condoms you ordered. That's right. So she knows that you mean business.
And so basically, the other thing, right, is that I order Ocado and shopping online sometimes, and the thing I often do is I just add my previous shopping basket. So I'm just like, I'll just order what I ordered before. And so sometimes I end up with too much of certain things, like too many bags of brown rice. Or sometimes you buy things thinking, do you know what, I'm going to make some couscous or whatever, right? So you buy a bag of couscous and or something like that. And then you never use it. And then you forget that it's there. And then you keep adding to that stockpile. And before you know it, you have, 10,000 unused condoms just blocking up your cupboards and stairwells.
Yeah. Well, they have an expiry date too. So if you have recently bought tons of condoms on the internet and you're storing them in your house for whatever reason, thinking, I'll get around to using them at some point, just remember they go out of date and they're no longer effective.
And do you know who needs those? Charity shops.
Charity needs
Take them to charity shops.
Donate all of those in-date condoms to UNICEF today. Actually, you know what? I think they might take them. But do you think that they'd inspect them for tampering and stuff?
I think they might take them. But also, I think that what they actually want is socks. One of the things that I read is that apparently charity shops and these places don't get socks donated because no one wants to give socks. They give a lot of other clothes. But underpants and socks are two of the things that never get donated, and therefore they're one thing that they have to buy. And that means that if there's a charity drive or something locally, just bring a load of socks and everyone will love you. They always need socks down at shelters. They can use them as gloves. They can
sock puppets for fun.
Make fun sock puppets. Yeah, there's
warm up your dick and your balls because you can fit both of them into a sock normally.
That's something which typically doesn't get too chilly.
It's like a winter thing. Well,
did you know your dick and your balls? Do you know why their balls are external? Sips.
No.
It's because they need to be at lower temperature than the rest of the body.
Oh. That's why you shouldn't put a laptop on your lap because it'll heat up your balls. Apparently, it's bad for you.
Yeah, you shouldn't heat up your balls.
Don't ever do that. Anyway, wise words. More of that next time when you rejoin us for Wise Words with two fucking idiots, basically. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, man.